So I'm sauteing half of an onion and 2 garlic cloves and a whole carrot and a little bit of olive oil because I don't want it to have too much of an olive oil flavor. And I have 2 golden Yukon potatoes peeled and chopped into cubes. I'm also going to get about half of a bag of frozen cauliflower and 3 cups of frozen broccoli and some bone broth. And I'm going to make some cashew cream, salt and pepper. This is going to be a broccoli, cheese, potato soup. I have raw organic cheddar cheese that I'm going to put in there, but not too much because it gets all clumpy. And, well, maybe if I put a little flour, I have some organic home milled flour to add to it, and it'll avoid the clumpiness, but not too much anyways, because I'm going to make grilled cheeses on the side. So I have some bread going. My yeast is looking ready. I'm going to get this kneaded and rising so I can bake it and make some grilled cheeses. So I've got the broccoli, the cauliflower, the potatoes, onions, garlic, and carrots in here, and the bone broth. I'm contemplating adding water or making cashew cream or a can of coconut milk. I'm not entirely sure because I don't want it to taste like coconut milk. So I'm going to check on some recipes on Pinterest and see what I decide. And I think I'll have to add water regardless because I only had a little bone broth left in the fridge. The cauliflower is for extra nutrients, but also it makes it creamy as well. So that's going to add to that creaminess that I'll be missing without real heavy cream. I just added a nice amount of pepper and salt. Probably about a teaspoon, maybe 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and about the same of pepper. I like a little peppery flavor in my soup. And I decided to go ahead and make the cashew cream. So I'm going to let this all start to get tender and cover that and get the cashew cream going. My bread is going. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop this and let it rise. I've shown you guys how to make cashew cream before, but for those of you who are watching me for the first time, I know I've mentioned a lot of stuff that you're probably like, can you show me how to do that? I have a bread recipe video, so definitely check that out. I do mill my own grain though, so the recipe won't be the same if you don't, but you can play around with the water to flour ratio from store-bought flour and get the same results. It just might take a couple of attempts. And then my bone broth, I have a video on that as well. So I'm pretty sure that's all the stuff. Yeah, my bone broth, my bread flour, and my bread recipe. And now this is how I make the cashew cream. You get raw cashews. And to save money, I don't get them organic, and I get large white pieces. Actually, they are, I don't remember if they're organic or not. I ordered them from this company that I talk about on a lot of my videos called Azure Standard, A-Z-U-R-E Standard. It's like this company in Oregon that drives through the country dropping off orders for people in one location, and all the people gather to unload the truck and take home their stuff, and you can get amazing stuff from them. I recommend the dry stuff more than the produce. The produce is a hit or miss in my experience. But if you're closer to Oregon, then you may want to give the produce a shot. But I'm all the way in Tennessee, so by the time it gets to me, I'm not very pleased with it sometimes. Anyway, I'm supposed to have a cup or 3/4 cup of milk. So I'm going to put a little over a cup of cold water. And if I had thought of my dinner in advance, I would have probably soaked these, but I didn't, so I don't mind just making them. And I'm going to do like 2 handfuls. And this raw cashews are amazing to make like cheeses. I've made ricotta with them, Mexican melty cheese, sour cream, heavy cream, and even cashew milk for like cereal and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So to not make the nuts fly up and like coat the entire blender, I put it on low blend first. high for a little bit. Doesn't take much time. And it's done. And it's just, looks just like milk really. And you can make it thicker if you want or thinner. I'm going to leave it just like this. It's the consistency of like whole milk. I've made it really thick before. It just depends on the recipe you're doing, and there's not really a rule. It's just what I prefer for this dish. If you want to follow, I don't only do cooking videos. I have a variety of different topics I talk about. But as far as our diet goes, we started off completely oblivious to health and eating horrible. And about 6 years ago, things radically changed from watching all those food documentaries that are on Netflix. And we went crazy being vegans and like no sugar, all whole foods, milling my own grain, gardening, buying at the farmer's market. And through the years, we've tweaked our diet. So now the way we eat, for several reasons that I actually discuss in other videos if you're interested in knowing all those details. Our diet is now 100% whole foods. That's our biggest passion. The biggest thing as far as priority, as far as diet goes. That's the most important thing to us. Organic when we can, but always whole foods. So never like one of those prepackaged organic meals or products. And organic meat, farm fresh eggs, raw dairy. So that's our diet in a nutshell. I mill our grain, so the protein that helps our bodies digest gluten, which is the protein God put in wheat and in all the grains that have gluten. That protein helps us digest gluten, and it's fine. But the way that the process that flour goes through now, that protein is removed, and that's why there's so many people with issues with gluten in now, because it's so hard to digest without that protein that's supposed to be in there. So since I mill my own grain, we don't struggle in any way with gluten, but we do stay away from other wheat products. We've recently cut pasta out and crackers out of our diet. Those are two things I don't make from scratch. Crackers, it's too much work for too little. I know there's not enough crackers. It takes forever, and it's like 12 crackers, you know? And then the pasta, that's a lot of work. I'll do that on a special occasion, but I've only done it once. I have 2 small children, so definitely don't do that very often. So that's our diet, and please, I know most of you are probably already subscribers, but for any of you new people, please subscribe to me if you're interested in food, Christian living, wife, stay-at-home mom stuff, parenting stuff, homeschooling stuff. I talk about lots of different things. So this is looking tender. The broccoli's starting to get that nice breaking apart texture that like all the little florets go all over the whole soup. I love that. It's so pretty. I thought about putting spinach into the cashew milk, but then it would have turned the entire soup bright green, and it's okay. We've already had a lot of vegetables today. I didn't need to add the spinach, and I didn't want to make it bright green. So there's that, and now I'm going to add just a little bit of flour and some cheese and mix it all in. Also, I know you heard me say our diet consists of raw dairy, so why am I using cashew cream instead of milk? I was out of town, and so my husband was here alone, and he didn't go to the farmer's, he didn't need to go to the farmer's market to get half a gallon of milk. It would have definitely gone bad. So we didn't buy milk or heavy cream this week. We usually buy heavy cream, and I make our butter, and it lasts about 3 weeks. And then we buy raw milk, and we only buy half a gallon, and sometimes I have to like find uses for it to actually go through it in a week, because it's hard to go through it in a week. So that's why I'm using cashew cream. And sometimes even when I have milk or cream, I'll use cashew cream or almond butter or coconut milk, just because, for the extra protein and healthy fat and nutrients that it offers. So, and some things I just prefer with those kinds of milks. So It's kind of a on-the-spot decision. But I am excited to get our heavy cream this Saturday because I miss butter. I would have sauteed the onions and garlic and carrots in butter if I had any today, but I didn't. Wow, this actually is turning out very pretty. Yum. And it smells awesome. I'm considering this soup done. I'm just going to leave it on low covered so that it stays warm. And I'm going to wait for that bread to rise and go ahead and bake it. And get my griddle out to get those grilled cheeses going. And here's my loaf, which I'm letting rise. I already let it rise in the bowl, but now I've shaped it and I'm just waiting for the oven to preheat to 350. And once it's ready, I'm going to slice it like normal bread slices. Use my raw cheddar and no butter, because I don't have any butter, and just griddle it. I might do a little bit of olive oil to get the bread nice and toasty brown, but nothing is good too. So that's dinner. So I put olive oil straight onto the griddle and brushed it around with a brush, and then I put all the breads, the outside of the bread face down, and put some cheese, and this cheese is going to become yummy little toasty cheese. And dinner served.